Okay, I'm on the second card now. This Gramaje, and I don't know the historical behind it. It'd be fun to look them up, like I said. But the Farc decided to pass on the last card because they liked this event. The event involved, sorry about that, I had to put my pipe down. Cartels transfer 3 resources to Farc for each space with Cartel's base and Farc guerrillas. Well, that was a lot a little moment ago, but the government use of the last card destroyed a lot of the cartel bases. This is not as exciting anymore. However, this next card doesn't look terribly exciting to the Farc either, being able to hide their units, etc. It could be nice, but right now it's not of any interest. And here's the thing. You kind of want to play every other round. If you miss playing a round, then here's the problem. You're just sitting here. Sure, you're gathering resources by passing, but it's only one resource. Certainly I can do better than gain a resource by playing. I can do terror type things that can convince people into stuff. So I want to take an action. I'm not going to take that event anymore. So now the question is, well, who's left? It's the Cartel. I'm not particularly opposed to the Cartel. I don't feel like they're liable to hurt me. So I think I'm going to go, rolling around into Cucuta, I think I'm going to go over to taking an operation and a special activity. This leaves the event open for the Cartel, but I don't think they're interested in it. So I look at the Farc activities, and I have to decide what to do here. I'm not going to go through all my thought processes anymore. I spent enough time on that first video kind of puzzling through and trying to show what kind of thought you have to go through on every action when you start this game. Now, eventually, I would suspect, like with games like Twilight Struggle, got to be up here somewhere. Yay! And even Labyrinth to some extent. These decisions are very hard to begin with, but it becomes pretty obvious what you want to do as you kind of get into the pace of the game. Anyway, I'll figure out what I'm doing. So I'm looking at doing pretty much what the AUC did there, the rally and extortion combination. The rally, mainly because I'm not that far from the victory conditions. If I can get 3 more of them, well, 4 more bases in the world, I'll be in much, I'll be right up on the victory line. If the card comes up, hey, that's great. Should I be grabbing for it at this point? I don't know, but it looks to me like grabbing bases is kind of cool anyway. The problem is I'm buying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these rally actions. That's going to cost me 6 resources, which is a big pile of money. But I'm going to get some of them back. After I do the rallies, the extortions can happen. So I'll come back after that. Alright, so I grabbed $7 in extortions because I was able to grow this so that I actually exceed that as well. So I can place an extortion there in addition. You'll notice we've got a lot of these guerrillas face up. They're vulnerable now. It was important here, for example, I had 2 guerrillas here. I wanted to activate here so that I could have enough. Well, with 2 I could have built a base, but then the base would have been alone and vulnerable. So I wanted to have enough that I can build the base next time that I activate. So that kind of works a little better. That's the total there. And now we're on to our Cartel, who has 2 rights. Either a limited opportunity or the event. Now the event says I can free attack the Farc. I don't know. I'm not really opposed to the Farc. Yes, they're building up, but they're somebody else's problem. That's not really my goal here. So, what is my other goal? Well, do I really want this event? No. So I think, given that I kind of go low in the order, I got a few choices. I could take some bucks, or I could take a limited operation in only one area. I gotta look at the chart. I'll come back and tell you. Well, I just did a rally activity. I can't do my special activity. I could have if the first faction had chosen an event, but I don't have that option here. I have the option between the event, which I don't terribly want, and a limited opportunity, which I took here by building a couple of units with a rally. That cost me $1, but here's what's important about it. I ended up screening this base, which actually the Farc could have killed and maybe would have wanted to. Other options, well, they aren't terribly good. Like Terror is very impressive for the Cartel because I don't really care about the control of areas, and it doesn't really matter to me if people are scared. But I would only get one resource from that, from conducting a terror operation. That doesn't seem worthwhile, and protecting my base definitely does. So that's what I did. These are here now, which means these shift, these dump in. Let's make sure we got the right things. This card becomes available. And our next one is going to be, ooh, it's a Cartel first card. Luckily, since I'm over here, I won't get an action this turn, but next turn, I'm available for this. And this looks like an interesting one. A major shipment, bunch of big loss of resources that I definitely don't want somebody triggering. Or I can get a pile of extra resources. It says this resources phase. They add resources equal to 4 times bases. I think this happens in the resources phase here, which sounds like something I probably do want to set up. Alright, on to the next turn. Okay, so the government decides to take advantage of this card. It's going to take its ops and special activity. The Farc can't play. The ACU is up next. Now they've got an interesting option. Do they want a resource or do they want to actually play? And we'll come to that in a moment. But what the government's going to do is it's going to do a train operation. That I put my markers down for the black things. That's going to cost me a fortune. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I want to put more down? I'm going to spend $12 on that. And I'm allowed to put up to 6 cubes in each of the regions, okay, that I selected. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm not sure I want to use all troops. No. Well, I certainly can't use all troops. So I took 6 regions, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 4 regions. 4 regions times 6 is 24. I've got 12 here. 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm going to gather all my troops. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I don't know if I'm counting right. 12, 18. 19, 20, 21, 22, and grab some police too. It's because I want to solidify some of my positions in the cities with some cops. Oh. Yeah, I kind of want to put some police there. Yeah. And 4 of them there, maybe 2. Put a big pile of troops there. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Pile of stuff in here. And I should have one more place. I'm gathering some more stuff there. Great. Alright. Now, in one of these locations, I have the option to either pull 3 troops and put a government base there. Now the problem with this is it's hard. A government base requires that I either have a department in play, a department with a government base to do this, so I can put a second base in play. That doesn't sound too valuable. Or I can put it in a city, which I don't, according to the playbook, I don't really need bases in. I tried to figure out what bases were good for. Well, they give me places where I can keep my troops on propaganda rounds, and they also apply to this. I can do my training actions there. So the other option is to do a civic action, and if I recall correctly, those cost 3. And I can spend that right there, and I'm going to use that here to increase the support, which gives me another 2 points of support because I've got 2 population there. Okay, now I get to do my white action, and for this I chose to do an eradicate action. I can take these black markers off. I got a lot of troops, but I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, like if I wanted to do a sweep or something, and it just felt like, or the event for that matter, it felt like any of those could be reacted to too easily. I need more force to really slam it home. So doing an eradicate action, well, we know what that does already. That's going to increase my aid, and I consider that key because aid builds up my income each propaganda round. So that seems like a no-brainer to do early. Remove all cartel bases. Well, that's this one. Of course, I'm making an enemy of the cartel, but that's okay. And now I shift that or an adjacent area toward active, an adjacent department toward active opposition. Well, it's already active. Out of adjacent areas, it's this one, and I have just bonused the Farc another point, which I don't really want to do. They're pretty close, but I'm planning on making my attack very shortly. Not finding anything I really want to do with the AUC. I look at their options, and you know, it's just going to be a limited activity if I do it. Whereas next turn, I think the Cartel are going to be going first, and they're going to probably play this card, which means I'll be able to do a full action, which sounds more appealing. So I'm going to pass and grab a resource. Now, of course, I've been out of play for a little while, but that's okay. I can't, you know, I think this is my best opportunity at this time, even if I've kind of fallen behind before. I can't, you know, just say, well, I haven't gotten enough actions, I got to do one now. There's nothing that appealing with what the position is. Now this is going to move, and I get a new one, DoD Contractors, which can reveal guerrillas and remove cartel bases. That's very appealing to anybody who wants to hit cartel bases, but there are none left. The cartel's been pretty badly hurt. Plane down can hurt the government a little bit, but maybe the Farc wants to do that, but it's expensive because it gets rid of their card to do it. Anyway, these guys become eligible, and this drains down into the ineligible pile. And we'll see where we go. I'm going to load this one up.